वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्ण वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम. Yes, namaskar. Can someone recollect what is it that we've seen last so we can move ahead? Anybody?
Yes, I
Yes.
will start.
Yes, that's well. Certainly.
Yes,
Yes.
we were talking about bhakti. We continued to talk about Bhakti Yoga. So, in 12th shloka, we said, knowing, that is realization, is better than being ignorant. And still better than that is meditation. That is better than knowledge is meditation. But the best is renunciation. That is karma phalatyag, which leads a bhakta to eternal peace. As it is said by Krishna, Tyagat Shanti Anantaram. 13th shloka. Krishna tells the attributes of his dear bhakts. The person who is not hateful, doesn't harbor enmity, is very compassionate, has love for all, treats everyone as a friend, that is a Vishwamitra, has shunned his ego, is tolerant and poised in comfort, and has given up. And such a person is always dear to him. In the 14th shloka, we saw the person who is always content. Now, gratitude is the base of the contentment, and acceptance make a person happy. So the person who is content, who practices yoga with dridata, stability or firmness, that who has risen above the mind and intellect and has surrendered to the divine, is a dear bhakt. In 15th shlok, we saw the bhakt who is neither perturbed by the chaotic world, nor his actions cause any disturbance to this world, who is, in short, free of pleasure, anger, fear, anxiety, and has become a yogi, is dear to Krishna. In 15th shloka, the person who has no expectation, who has no worries, has given up the ownership of every action, is a dear bhakta. Later we saw the devotee who neither rejoices nor rejects, neither grieves nor desires the material objects, treats the auspicious and inauspicious as same, is very dear to Krishna. 18th shloka. An ideal devotee is one who treats friends and foes equally, doesn't have attachment either to honor or dishonor. Praise and criticism does not affect him. He takes a balanced view of opposites like heat and cold, happiness and sorrow. Such type of a bhakta is dear to Krishna. In short, what we are seeing is a person who has a balanced temperament, who doesn't get affected and is able to concentrate in the divine form, is close to Krishna.
Yes, well, thank you very much, Dr. Salpa, and your beautiful summary. This is something what is the core of the Gita's teachings? To become close to the divine, to become dear to the divine. What are the advantages of being dear to the divine? I think we had once had a discussion. What are the perks of being close to the divine? When we receive higher intuition, we receive grace, we become conscious of the divine presence in our life. Our ordinary actions become what we call heightened and conscious actions, wherein we might be doing karma, but we will not be trapped in what is the karma bandhana. We say, munchate karma bandhane. What is this karma bandhana, the action? Somebody asked a very nice question. Does that mean we should go for a tit for tat approach? Because Krishna has said we are not naive. But again, tit for tat is always reactionary, isn't it? This person reacted, so I am reacting. This person called me fool. I will not tolerate it. So I'm going to call that person a fool again. What is going to happen? You're creating a new sanskara. One person has lowered his consciousness in a lower guna or lower state of action. He has acted and you are reacting. But Krishna's consciousness is higher, beyond the action and reactions. So we'll have to raise ourselves. The point that was raised, that we must be neutral, means we must not be what we can say, harming ourselves. We must look at ourselves also. But at the same time, our ankara or our emotions should not be our driving factor. It's a little confusing at times. Who is speaking, who is not? Is it my ankar talking to me right now? Or is it the divine wish? Because many times people attribute their wishes to the divine and start doing whatever they wish also. Isn't it? This is what God is functioning through me. Isn't that an ankar? Can we say God is, because I have surrendered to the divine, everything I do now is divine wish? Is it possible? No, because there is a
No.
flux. No. Absolutely, Chaitanya ji. That we will look at when we come to the chapter on the gunas. Because there are the gunas in nature. There are the three gunas. They have already been introduced. Sattva, Raja, Tama. So are these three dominating us? Or is there something higher than these three also? Is something we will want to see. But till then, we must be sure that walking on the spiritual path does not mean you are a punching bag for everybody. This person is peaceful, so everybody can try to provoke him. This is not the way. That is not at all something you should allow any time. Let us continue. Krishna goes on. Yes, we saw the 18th shloka, and as Dr. Swarupaji also wonderfully said, in so many ways, these shlokas right from 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, these are all saying who is dear to Krishna. You just see Mad Bhakta Same Priya, Mad Bhakta Same Priya, Mukto Yaha Sacha Me Priya. That person who is free is dear to me. Such a person who has this type of behavior. And I think Dr. Swarupaji nicely explained to us. Shubha Shubha Parityagi, Santushtaha Sakatam Yogi. Each of these are like SOPs for us in our life. We can practice this, rising beyond what is auspicious and inauspicious to understand the divinity. And I think breaking of glass is considered auspicious or inauspicious? Anybody? Breaking of a glass?
It's
Anyone?
inauspicious.
Why is it inauspicious, Saitiji?
That I don't know.
Yeah, it is inauspicious because it is an indicator that you are not conscious, isn't it? Like I have a glass right now, I'm just talking and I suddenly leave it. Instead of keeping it on the table, I keep it somewhere else. It's going to fall. So it's a sure shot indicator that I'm not conscious. But is it a bad omen? Well, that is something only divine can understand fully. We shouldn't draw conclusion. And this was a very nice experience because I knew this was a bad omen all the time. I always felt that it was a bad omen, breaking of glass. So you must become alert. If glass breaks, I have to become extra careful. But should I be afraid? Not at all. One example was when I had a chance to go to Gurukul in Pune. There, my sister broke a glass cup. I was feeling weird. She was feeling even horrible. What did I do? But the Guru then she very nicely said, "This is a child. This is an indication of Mahalakshmi's presence. She is happy." I was surprised. How? What is this perspective? But this is coming from a very traditional household. They are not getting so affected how much I or Avanti, my sister, was getting affected. It is as simple as that. You have to realize the higher spirit of it. Shubha Shubha Parityagi. What is Shubha? What is Ashubha? Na punyam na papam. Of course, there is punya. Of course, there is papa. But when you look at the highest consciousness, when you're looking at it, everything is happening according to the divine will. Not a leaf moves without the divine will from that point of consciousness. And Krishna is asking us slowly right to that point. And this bhakta, he is very, because many times what happens, our nature comes in the way. Our preferences come in the way and we attach to our own preferences. But the divine is beyond our preferences, beyond the dvandvas, the divide. No, one person say act this way, another person says don't act that way. So we either fall in this party or in that party. It is not something we should do. So Shubha Shubha Parityagi, then the person who is free, he is not causing disturbance to anybody. If you speak the truth, somebody in falsehood will get disturbed only, isn't it? If you speak the Satya Vachan, you are going to speak. Somebody who is following a Satya or in ignorance, he is going to be disturbed. So how do we function? How do we correlate with this? How do we go on with life like this? May not follow Krishna also and still not disturb anybody? Anyone? Yes? Okay,
can be
Renuji?
truth can be spoken in a different way also without disturbing that person,
Ah,
without causing that disturbance.
yeah, that's very
Not,
true. Satyam
not
bruyat
speaking,
na bruyat, satyam apriyam. Please go on, Ji. Yes, Ji.
not
Sorry?
speaking publicly, just corner him somewhere and you can speak to him in a different way, in a different tone also, so that it
Yes.
doesn't bring any
Disturb,
setback
isn't
to
it? Our,
disturbance.
what is our aim? Our aim is to speak the truth. Our aim is not to disturb. But if the truth is disturbing, that is that person's sanskar and that person's karma, bandhana and consequences, which that person. From our side, we don't have to add the angle of harshness to our words. We will see later in the Gita also. This is what they call vak tapa. And this is Sanatan Dharma. Satyam bruyat na bruyat satyam apriyam priyam cha nanritam bruyat esha dharma sanatana. Speak the truth with kindness, speak the truth with tolerance, speak it when it's necessary. All of it has to be understood. But the dvandva, if we are out of it, it's actually so simple because we cannot keep referring SOPs, isn't it? In our life, what does the Shastra say? Okay, hold on. Somebody has spoken. Give me 1 minute. I'll open the Gita. Ah, right. I remember this was 12th Adhyaya. This was this shloka. We can't follow SOPs like that. What is simple is connect with Krishna. He will tell you. The person who has never shouted in his life also may one day shout when Krishna wishes, when Krishna aspires. And the person who is most cranky and easily triggered will suddenly appear quiet and calm. Why? Connected with Krishna's consciousness. So allow that consciousness to function through us. So the higher will, because every single moment has a higher purpose. We don't realize it only. Sometimes we think a useless meeting is taking place, but something brilliant comes out of it. And sometimes the biggest of big conferences are organized and nothing comes out of it. Experts come from across the world to give their talk and nothing concrete has come out. Suddenly, elsewhere, a simple meeting has resulted in a great aspect of Loka Sangra. Sometimes pioneering developments take place in technological fields also over a meeting in just casual meeting. Why? Well, that was the hour of the God. That was the manifestation taking place. Instruments were receptive. As simple as that. So, what we can say, a devotee, dearest devotee, he is an instrument of Krishna, and Krishna gives on. Whatever comes naturally, that person is happy. Cool breeze on a hot day. We get happy just when we don't expect it. So Krishna is saying, get free from this trap of expectations. Neither rejoicing nor rejecting, nor grieving over what is lost. Oh no, this person left me. Oh no, this thing, I lost this job. Oh no, this person cheated me. We keep holding on to it. What happens? The paranoia builds onto us, isn't it? Means I have already now don't teach me anything new. I have learned from this experience. So when we have finished that, you say you have learned means you're not learning anything new. You're not going to get a chance to open your consciousness. You're not going to get a chance to learn something new. When you get attached, you form what they call, the murtikar can make a mold, isn't it, out of clay which is fresh. But after that clay has become hardened and dried, can you make a mold? It's not, it is gone. It is something like that. So who is our Murtikar? Is it our Ahankar or is it the divine? And is our clay, what we can say, malleable? Are we allowing the divine to give the shape the divine wishes? Well, yes, we can do that when we have the element of bhakti. The rasa of bhakti is the ananda of life, and that is something which is going to keep us available for the divine. Krishna, I will tell Arjuna, Arjuna, fight. Arjuna's questions of ahankar or sorrow or depression will not come in between. He will be able to freely move in the spirit of Krishna's consciousness. And that is a dear devotee, Krishna keeps on saying. He's neither grieving nor desiring, neither rejoicing nor rejecting. Again, rejection is also wrong, isn't it? Rejection is also closure, no? Closure of one side. I reject this person completely. That means you are also rejecting the divinity in that person. There can be a divinity, and there is divinity in everybody. In the good and in the bad, in the ugly also, in the beautiful also, in what is brilliant and what is small, everywhere. But when we start rejecting it, the Isha Upanishad also talks about, Sri Aurobindo calls it two negations. One person in the early days, Sri Aurobindo is known for what? His brilliance, his wisdom, he was a seer. Everybody, even at that time, he was a revolutionary. People came to him to ask that, no, isn't it? But somebody, I think it was, anyway, let us not go to the name, but that person, you can find out that incident later on. But someone came to Sri Aurobindo, instead of asking anything else, he said, why are you sticking to smoking? Now, that time he was. Afterwards, in his sadhana, he stopped. It is a personal wish. In Maharashtra, we have so many saints who had different traits. One would use swear words, but nobody would go to hear the swear words, or some people actually went to receive the swear words because they felt Mahankar inside of me will disappear. But that was their function, their outer swabhava. People are trapped in the Dvandva. This person should be like this. Yogi means he should have these many centimeters beard. This person, yogi, should have this particular colored robe. It's not like that. The outer forms are not important. So when this question was asked to Sri Aurobindo, why are you sticking to smoking? His response was, why are you sticking to non-smoking? Means it is just, why are we negating? No rejections. What is truth is truth. Of course, he's not advocating it for anybody else. But why is our drushti not broad enough? Isha Upanishad says one end is Vidya, another end is Avidya. Both are two ends. You will have to reconcile with both ends. Then only you will reach the highest consciousness. Otherwise, you are going to remain on one side and be oblivious of the other side. There is a Devi in the Rig Veda. Her name is Sarama Devi. Her area of dwelling is in darkness. She's the hound of the heavens. In the darkest of dark caves, she goes in and summons the light. That is the that is the function. So in the subconscious also, Praktikaran of what is the Divya Jnana or Divya Jyoti is possible. That is something which we must realize. So this is all right. Friends, foes, treating as one, honor, dishonor, in comfort and sorrow, in the opposites of nature, you are holding a balance. Such a person is dear. 19th shloka becomes very interesting. तुल्या निंदा स्तुतिर मौनी संतुष्टो येन केनचित अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिर भक्तिमान मे प्रियो नरः. Slightly different we see here. Krishna says bhaktiman me priyo naraha. Everywhere else we see mad bhakta same priya. So very dear to me, he says. In praise or censure, he is poised and peaceful. With whatever that comes naturally, he remains blissful. When from his people, things, and home he can detached be, a soul with such devotion and conviction is dear to me. Krishna says, such a person, number one, if you look at the points, praise or censure. Just because somebody says you praises you, you get carried away, attached to that praise, you raise yourself to that great height. And then when somebody criticizes you, then you get equally disturbed. Damleji had once sent me to Bangalore. It was almost a couple of years back, or maybe a year ago. I'm not exactly remember the date, but it was an interesting moment for me because I got both within 24 hours. I went to meet the director of a particular magazine, which was connected to spirituality. He was writing my articles. So I didn't think I'll get any hostile reaction because he's already planned and booked my entire year. He was going to publish the entire book that I've written. So I thought, chalo, let us go meet him. We will introduce to him as a representative of the trust. I will go talk to him about our project for kids. And that's what my entire agenda was that. But I had to travel very far. So I traveled 1 hour to reach his home. There was a lot of smoke of different agarbattis inside, and I went. He offered me a glass of water. I was of course grateful for that. And then started half an hour or 45 minutes of pravachan, which I did not sign up for. It went on, and he said, I don't understand your agenda. I said, my teacher told me to come. No, nobody comes like this. I have the phone. I said, I'm going to try to meet somebody from the government also, from the education sector. But you have no contacts? He said, yes, I don't have contacts, but my teacher has sent me. Again, I said, but you did not ask for help. I said, sorry, sir, I did not know. Next time I will ask. I have phone of CM in my, he showed his mobile phone. The CM's phone number is there. And I was like, all right, listening to him. And no, no, you have falsehood in your eyes, is what he told me. And he went on. Just to one point, I was, chalo, like yesterday's question was, how much can you tolerate? But when he started talking about related to my organization, then I said, no, now it is the time I should not respond. So he said, why don't you see Krishna in me? He wanted me to touch his feet. So many things were going on. And I was really not expecting this, especially from somebody whom I expected to be like a senior, like an elderly brother or some elder figure, this kind of reaction. Finally, I just looked at him in the eye and said, I'm not looking at you in the eye, not because of falsehood, because I don't agree with your opinion. Immediately, he got angry. He caught his neck as if I have caught his own neck. He said, you have too much ego, get out. He asked me to get out and he chased me out. And I was very surprised, Hi, what happened? So I just asked him, is this Krishna who is sending me out? Krishna asking me to get out was my question to him. Again, he got more angry, and I thought it is dangerous to stay in his vicinity. He might even throw some stones at me. But absolutely out of the blue, unexpected, and I was wondering why did I spend so much time to reach his place? So, and also the amount of traveling, all of it. But that was one experience. Within 24 hours, I got one more place where they put a pagadi also, they put a mala, and I was very surprised. That also had never happened to me in life. So and I called my Guruji and asked him. He asked me which is true. There, that one person has praised you, another person has kicked you out. Which is true? I thought this was a test. So I said, Ramliji, this is a test. The man is the man of the scripture. The apman is also not my apman. So that way I should not take both. And he said, yeah, that's the right attitude. Because this is something in life. Many times we get attached just because somebody is praising us. People do a lot of things because they want a praise. I want public praise from someone. So what, will you become a slave of that person just for getting a public praise? Many times people make somebody organizer of organizing secretary. This name is given to someone. That's it. He is made organizing secretary, but he becomes the amal of the organizer. All the works labor is done because this person has been put in this person. All this person wants is that course, but nothing comes out of it. Well, many times this happens in life. So what we can say, it is so easy to get carried away, but it is more difficult to not get carried away. And somebody who is not getting carried away, Krishna says, is the real progressor. I mean, it feels good, no, when you get praised. Who doesn't feel happy when you're getting praised? Somebody says yes, but when you get attached to it, it's a problem because there it is the trap. That is the trap which we should not fall in. Same way, whatever comes naturally. If you are in that state where you are not owning anything, you see, little moments will become brilliant. When you have that feeling of gratitude, wow, what is so beautiful? Little things. Because otherwise, it's a matter of perspective. Person who is blind, who is walking on the road, he cannot see. A lot of people unnecessarily have pity on that person. But that person is not having problem with that. That person is grateful. I had seen that young boy. I saw I was blind when I was very young. I think around 10, 12 years ago. I was five. It had a big impact on me. But suddenly I saw what is he going to trip? Is he going to fall? But I saw he's smiling and laughing at, oh, what happened today? He's just having a regular day. It is I who am having that different perspective. Instead, if you bring gratitude, when you have little also, it will appear plentiful. Little also. Chalo, theek hai. This much only. No, no, it's all right. This much is there. I'm grateful for it. Because naturally, when things come, you can understand it's coming from the divine. Yes. Sorry, I'm Dr. Suraj. Do you want to add something? Is it? All right, maybe
No.
not. Fine, sir. Let us continue. Then next part. When from his own people, things, or home he can detached be. This is the most difficult part. Can we become detached from our people, our things, our home? Such a person is dear, is what Krishna says. Can we become detached from our own people, our own things, our own home? Is my question. It is a burning question. Yes, can we become? Because then you can become very dear to Krishna, he says. Again, now there's a big choice we have to say. One side, dear to Krishna, other side, my attachments to my things, my people, my home. Is this a very, what we can say, illogical or irrational choice Krishna has thrown to us? Or is it possible? Is it possible? Detached from your own people, from your own things, from your own home. We hold on to our things, isn't it? So badly, so strongly. Can we become detached?
I don't think you can become detached, but I mean, probably there are two things here. He asks
Um,
us to see the oneness in all. So
yeah.
probably what he is trying to say is that maybe that bias or something that actually, makes us makes us take decisions which are not probably fair, or maybe which may take us away from our path. That is why he's just trying to say that get away from that bias to these things, because probably these are the most powerful things
No.
that are going to affect you.
All right. Yes. Yes, Chaitanya. But from your loved ones, can you become detached from your loved ones? Because you love them, isn't it? Can you
Yeah.
become detached from them?
No, no, no. At least not
Or
from
is
me.
it possible? Or is it possible to love without detachment? Without, I mean,
With
love with
detachment or
detachment.
expectation, you are saying?
Ah, yes, yes, yeah. Expectations. My person. This is mine. This person belongs to me. Means it's
Yeah,
always one. The my comes from it. The I comes from one place. It's like, ये मेरे सपने यही तो है अपने. These are all my own. I have to hold on. But after a while, what happens? Our holding on, suddenly I becomes more important, isn't it, in the relation also? Unknowingly, unconsciously.
correct.
Means, can we love without expectations? Completely. No expectation at all. Or some expectations come in automatically. ये तो करना ही चाहिए. मैंने इतना किया है.
I
इतना
think
तो
it
होना
comes
चाहिए.
it comes automatically.
Yeah.
All right, it comes out. It comes automatically. But what is the purest experience when you get something without any rider? When you get something without any no holds barred, no nothing in return, that becomes very special, isn't it?
I
When
think
we
something
receive
you
something,
had called about one-sided love.
mukta saga. Ha, no,
Yeah.
one-sided love is sometimes troublesome also.
I
That
know.
is
I'm just
troublesome
saying.
also.
I mean, in that case,
But
you don't
it
expect
is
things from other
beautiful.
side. Yeah.
No, it means if both of them,
Yeah.
both the lovers practice one
Correct.
directional love without expectation, means it's like rose without the thorns, relationship without that cut and fights which take place. I think nobody wants the cut aspect inside a relationship, isn't it, Chaitanya ji? Initially, they
Yes.
say fights make it beautiful, but afterwards it becomes ugly also, isn't it? So
Yeah.
we want that. We want that love, but we want it in purest form. We don't want, the means. Can we say because of love, I'll allow faults to progress inside of my lover or inside of myself
No.
because of attachment? I have these attachments. I cannot let go of them. This is my fault. Instead, love is what it is, allowing a person to rise, isn't it?
Correct.
Allowing a person to rise beyond the faults. It is not continuing faults, and the pure love is where both progress towards that higher truth. Well, that is something in relationships also. Otherwise, many times in Gita, there's a beautiful term called Mukta Sangha. You are united and yet free. It looks like opposites. One is union, one other is free. Freedom. Freedom and being free is different from being bound, isn't it? Mukta and Sangha. But this detachment is called Mukta Sangha. Mukta Sangha Samacharaha is the word in the Gita for this. Meaning you are free and yet united. This is how everyone should be. Even in an organization, individual versus organizational wish. When will the organization progress? When there's freedom for the individual to grow, when there's freedom for the individual to learn, when there is freedom for the individual to, add on more values to that individual's personality. But also, the individual should be connected, isn't it, with the organization? That bond is also there. And when it is beautiful on both sides, then it becomes very nice experience. And Krishna is saying this is important. Even your own near ones, your people, your things, your own home. Many times in the name of mine, my people, Mama Kaha Pandavas Chaiva Kima Kurvata Sanjaya is the first adhyay of the Gita, the first shloka, which says why a Kurukshetra took place. And I'm very, I can say, a little disappointed to know that so many, I mean, after many classes, I keep hearing that in everybody's home, Kurukshetra is happening only. Somebody has put a court case on somebody else. Everybody is having fights because this is mine, this is my property, this is my property, and brothers are fighting. It's just like repetition of what is happening in Kurukshetra. Both are fine giving outside lawyers enough amount to make that other person suffer. Advesha, bhava, all of it has happened because of what? It's all ahankar only, isn't it? It is that. Instead, how do you find reconciliation? It's difficult. We're not going into the details of it. But many times we unknowingly invite Kurukshetras into our world. A mother did not scold the child in time. That child got spoiled. Why did the mother not scold the child? Because this is my child. I love the child, so I cannot tell something that child does not like to hear. That's a problem. This is how it happens everywhere. Chaitanya is saying something. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. So we talked about this detachment of from our people, things, and home. So
Yeah.
are we actually saying it is more of a accepting the situation and not getting affected by it? Is that kind of a detachment we are talking about here?
Yeah, acceptance that you don't have control over another
Correct.
person.
Correct.
That is all. That is the acceptance.
That
Not
is the
acceptance of what
yeah.
is happening, and if it is wrong, we will see in gunas. It is tamas also sometimes, isn't it? Tamasic, some wrong, lower consciousness also cannot be accepted. It has to
And not
rise. But
getting
how do
adversely
we react?
affected because of whatever happens, then that
Yes.
becomes kind of detachment then in this case.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Because otherwise, your attachments. Oh, this person broke my heart. This dialogue is so commonly used by teenagers. I had a friend whose heart was broken 5 times. Thought, chalo, yaar, we have to go and verify what special heart this person has got because one thing breaks one, it is not, it is broken, isn't it? But
Correct.
again, it is becoming all right, again breaking. So is it glass or is it rubber? That was something I was feeling. Let us go and check, is what I asked him. He got a beautiful dialogue of Rumi. He said, the heart keeps on breaking again and again till one day it stops breaking. So till that day, it will keep being in that cycle, isn't it? Action, reaction, heartbreak again, hearts beating again, breaking. Yes, Karthik ji is saying something.
I
Yes,
just
sir.
want to understand this concept of Kurukshetra and people's homes.
Yeah,
We've actually learned to accept that we don't live in an ideal world, and
yeah, we are not. We are not,
it
definitely.
is what it is. So, like
Yeah.
Chaitanya said, it is. I mean, can we also say that this situation is Krishna Ichha?
No, the situation of Krishna Ichha is no. Yuddha was not Krishna Ichha in Kurukshetra. Krishna went. He went as the emissary of the Pandavas. He went to
Correct.
Duryodhana to avoid.
Not the exact Kurukshetra situation, but
But
similar situations.
inevitable situations come in, but you don't have to pour oil in the fire, isn't it? Just because situation has come, now I'm going to go. Means what happens? Emotions come into play, no? Emotions come into play. Brothers talks nonsense to other brothers or sisters, and then already now it has been decided, now there is no reconciliation. But at least follow Dharma Yuddha, no? No need to go on to adharma path. That is where the problem happens. That is where
Okay.
I hope that covered the question,
Yes,
Karthik.
yes, yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
All right. Ji, sir. So, but who is dearest? Krishna says in the last shloka of this adhyaya. ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे priya. This is ati priya to Krishna, most close to Krishna. I think if all these shlokas we see, this is the most important shloka because this is the dearest. Who is he? Krishna says, but the dearest of my devotees is he whose supreme aim in life is to love only me. For he emulates my teachings with perfect devotion And his life is the immortal dharma's exemplification. Krishna says this, the dearest devotee. Who is this? Who is this Radha? Who is this person who is closest to Krishna? Whose supreme aim in life is to only love the divine. What is your ambition? I want to love the divine better. I want to, and it is something, it will allow a person to evolve and grow. I recognize the divine and I'm loving the divine. I want to recognize the divine completely and I want to love without any holds barred, without any expectations. That is the person. And how is this person? This person is also very good in the actions. He is a practical or she is a practical example of the teachings. For he emulates my teaching with perfect devotion. He understands the spirit of the Gita, the message of Krishna, and is able to live it, is able to practice it. And what happens then? He becomes the beacon, he becomes the example. His life is the immortal dharma exemplification. That person becomes the example, and such a person is dearest. Anybody has heard of this place called Gita Dham in Rajasthan? Well, it was started by one Swamiji, Hari Harji Swami Maharaj. I was very lucky to know about him through a session only. When the participants were from some of the trustees of that organization, and they shared the story of Hari Harji Swami Maharaj. He was in the Indian National Army for Subhash Chandra Bose. Afterwards, when Bharat was found, all the big politicians whom we consider now legendary figures, they were all getting set. He also was invited. He was invited when he said, I'm going to start another revolution. He's going to start Gita revolution. So he dedicated his life for Gita. At the age of 30, he took sannyas. He was already sannyasi. At the age of 30, he stopped eating certain fruits and he used to have fruits and milk. That was his only diet. From 30 till 100. Till 100, that is, I think, even in 2000, I think that was the year he passed away. I unfortunately never had the chance to go and meet him. But until his last day, he was teaching principles of the Gita, and he would just ask, he said, he would tell his students, make your house the ashram. You should become the example. And he would say, ask one question to your friends whenever you go anywhere. Have you read the Gita? You will get 1 rupee. Ask, have you read the Gita in your of Punya? Continue. He would say, just have you read the Gita? Ask this much only. Don't add or anything else. If the person is interested, what will happen? You will have a discussion on something which is higher. If the person is not interested, at least the thought will go inside. The word Gita will go in. Maybe I'll read sometime. That is up to that individual. But it's little things, his what we can say, teachings. His life became the teaching. Now still his shishyas are across the world. He extensively traveled across the world to teach practical aspects of the Gita in everybody's life. And he never had anything in his name at all. Not in his name. Nobody knows also about him that much. So these are all examples, and our Bharat Rashtra is a Divya Rashtra because of this. It is Divya because of so many Vibhutis who have been born, who have been doing selflessly. Mahatyagaya Vidmahe, Divya Rashtraya Dhimahi, Tanno Bharata Prachodayate can be called a Bharat Gayatri mantra. Let this Bharat, which is born from the sacrifice, from the yajna, from the tyaga of such vibhutis, become the source of our inspiration. Let that light inspire our intellect. Because these are the beacons, and Krishna says, dearest devotee is that person whose aim in life, his aim, his ambition. What do you want to do? I just want to serve the divine. Sri Aurobindo has said, to be a servant of God is good, but to be a slave is greater. Why? Yes, I'll come to you in a moment, Karthik. Why is a slave greater than a servant? Servant of God. ठीक है. Human rights people will say, we are all trying to propagate slavery. No, it is not that. The slave of the divine is the Raja of the Srishti. Ram Das, Kabir Das, Tulsi Das. They are Dasa of the divine, but not Dasa of any individual human being. They have surrendered their Indriyas and they are recipients of Kripa. As Tulsidas Maharaj had said, Tulsi Tulsi sab kahe, Tulsi ban ki घास, हो गई कृपा प्रभु राम की, बन गए तुलसीदास. Tulsi is what? Just grass growing on its own. Nobody is even watering it. It just grows like that. It's a forest grass. But with the kripa of Ram, look, I have become Tulsi Das. The tatparya or the meaning of it is kripa can function in us also when we become recipients. So let us surrender. Yes, Karthik ji, you were saying something.
Sorry, just in connection to the previous shloka. Now,
Yeah.
so there's this saying, "Kabhi kabhi gade ko bhi apna baap banana padta hai." So
Okay. Context.
in that context, aren't the lines blurred between praise and
Why? No, but why will I didn't understand the context of this phrase though.
no,
Means in which
so,
context?
no, in any context, so the line is blurred between praise and say insult. So
Huh.
so
Means
in
that is on the individual aspect. That is on the individual aspect. Means that phrase because some of the common phrases can have different meanings when looked at different perspectives. So can we make somebody who is adharmi as just because I want something, I will allow adharmi person to sit on my head and take control of me? No, that will not happen, isn't it?
correct.
But
So there's also this aspect of selfishness connected to that phrase.
yes, it is, it is. Because even looking at it a little deeper manner, it gives a very strange, how can I, my father is my father, isn't it? Who will I make another person a father? कैसे बनाऊंगा? How can I forget what I am? How can I make somebody else? Or I am with my karma, nobody will dare. Like one mother wanted a child to read the Gita. She kept trying to tell her, read the Gita, read the Gita, read the Gita. It was her attachment, no, for the child. So she wanted good for her. But it was not working. And she was feeling desperate. She asked me, and I said, you have asked the wrong person. Because my mother used to want me to read Gita. I would close my ears and say, Ma, I don't have time. But the time came, so let the time come when it has to. Instead, you follow the principles of the Gita, who knows, she might feel inspired. And exactly that happened almost 8 months down the line. A moment came in the life where everybody was pressured, and a problem comes onto a family, it comes onto everybody in the family, isn't it? It becomes difficult. And what happens when you're attached? No social distancing is happening, so it's spreading to everybody, isn't it? Like in COVID, we had to become detached from family members also. If somebody had corona, we had to keep that person separate, isn't it? Why? We did not want it to pass on to us. Same thing happens in difficult moments also. One person becomes sorrowful, the all people attached to that person become sorrowful. Somebody will have to take one step back. This mother was able to take one step back, so wonderfully handled a very difficult situation in the family that the daughter came and asked, Ma, what did you know? How did you handle this way? Then she was like, Beta, come, I'll tell you. This is the principle of the Gita. And she practiced it. She became the example, and her daughter also received, not directly from her. I mean, she was telling directly, it was not falling on the ear. But when she was practicing it, many times we see karma yogis, we see their karma, no? And then get the knowledge of what is behind the karma. So this detachment is required because otherwise it is like a domino effect. It happens in life. One hand, this hand is connected to the other hand. Force on this hand will push this other hand away also, isn't it? But if there is a back, there is a small gap. So what's going to happen? This shock will not be borne by the other. The other person will, who is many times the one who is detached can carry the entire family forward in a difficult moment also. Because the strength is there. It requires strength, it requires conviction. That is why Krishna says, which he specifically uses. It will come again in the next adhyaya also, this concept. Your own people, your own things, your own home, if you can detach, be. What if your own home turns against you? You are not doing wrong. Then you'll be broken, isn't it? If you have to see right, what is right, because I think we are lucky, our homes, we have supportive homes. But there are places where this cannot become a completely same principle everywhere. For a person whose home is not perfect, this person wants to do something good. What will happen to that person? Should that person become a slave? Live all life because this person wished that person's dreams I will carry over inside of me and I will then pass it on to the next person, my unfulfilled dreams. That's not how a person's life should be. Getting detached is important. Yes, sir. So can we go ahead? Yeah. All right. Hari Om. So now we move into the 13th adhyaya. There are two versions of this Adhyaya. In some Gita versions, it starts with a question of Arjuna. In others, it is directly Krishna continuing. The question also is not very, what we can say, significant. So I think Gorakhpur Gita Press directly begins with Krishna's version. So also Sri Aurobindo's essays on the Gita also is considering directly Krishna speaking. But the question is about Krishna is being asked in some versions by Arjuna. Krishna, please tell me who is Kshetra, who is Kshetragnya, what is this principle? And Krishna says, yes, I will give you. So we are looking at the version with Krishna's answer directly only. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetramithya Etadyo Vetti Tam Prahuhu Kshetragnya iti Tadvidaha. Shri Krishna answered, O Arjuna, this physical body that you own, he is the field that is to be known, and he who knows in principle its foundation is the knower, who knows its mode of operation. So Krishna says, this idam shariram kaunteya, your body, your physical body, this is the kshetra. This is the field that you have to know. He who knows its mode of operation, he is the knower. Who knows its principle of foundation is the knower who knows its mode of operation. This kshetra's knowledge is there, that person can be called a kshetragnya. The first kshetra is the sharira. Shariram adyam khalu dharma sadhanam. Your first duty towards the body. The body is what? A medium, isn't it? A body is a vehicle for our life's journey. So we should take care of it. Anybody knows this motto? Shariram adyam khalu dharma sadhanam. Kalidasa's words. They are a motto of a very big institute in India. Anybody knows about it? I think everybody must have heard of All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Yes, it is there. Same Delhi's motto. The doctor is also saying, know your body, shariram, adyam, khalu dharma sadhanam. Because where does the doctor get the case history from? From the patient only, isn't it? They have to first understand. If the patient is in coma, also, first thing is they analyze the patient before starting the operation. Because they have to first understand the body on which they are working. Same way, doctor will be told by the patient, doctor, ये दवाई मत देना. Contraindication है मेरे यहाँ इसका एलर्जी होता है. How will the doctor know? And sometimes we know our body better than anybody else, isn't it? I have seen my body from childhood. I know what's its plus point, what's its minus point. Some people know if I eat this food, this will result in this immediately. Another person will be having 10 times the content of that food and still not have that effect because each body is unique. So this aspect, Sharira is neglected many times in sadhana. I am now spiritual, so I am not going to look at my body. Is that allowed? No, it's not. And this shloka is reminding us we cannot neglect the physical body. One person was doing a particular aspect of yoga and his kundalini got awakened is what he was saying. Actually, he got hypoglycemia. He thought it was kundalini awakening. And what happened? Luckily, he was given sugar at the right time. Otherwise, it would have gone in a different direction. Means, where is the consciousness? Why are we neglecting the body consciousness? We must become conscious of our body. Why? This is our vehicle. We maintain our vehicles. We do service to our vehicles. What about this vehicle that has been serving us every day of our life? We cannot allow. A sadhak is always, you look at all our great yogis, look at all devatas, they were all strong, muscular, powerful, isn't it? Look at Parashurama. Agratas chaturu veda prishtatah sarasandhanu idam brahmam idam shatram shapadapi sharadapi. Muscular like a he-man. How was Parashurama? There are 4 Vedas in front of me. Behind me is the Shara and the Dhanu. Idam Brahmam, Idam Kshatram, Shapadapi Sharadapi. I can slay with my curses also, I can slay with my weapons. That was his aspect. But Krishna also was strong. Sri Rama how was he? Godandadhari. How was Sri Rama? He was the warrior. What we can say, physically strong. So this aspect, because spiritual truth is high, people neglect. Sri Aurobindo talked about this spiritual truth revealing in the material also. And taking care of our body is one of the primary duties. Supramental transformation, what Sri Aurobindo talks about, is going to involve matter also when it takes place. We cannot neglect just because we like Sukshma, we will ignore what is Sthula. Just it's like saying I like only quantum physics. I don't like classical physics. Can anybody make that choice? Not at all. Not at all. If somebody wants to add something?
Ji.
Dr. Suraj.
Krishna ji.
Yes, how are you? Vaidya, yes, sir. And also your teacher. So about the
While you
Sharir,
are
I think we
saying,
can. Yeah. Ji, sir. Please tell me, sir.
some patients come to me. They started meditation, yoga. They are going spiritual. Like you see, Atman is always pure. You don't have to make it. So what we are
Yes.
experiencing is purity of mind, cleansing of mind. So it's like a software. You update your software, go on updating latest version, but your hardware is the old one. The instrument doesn't work.
Overload.
So you have to
Overload.
keep the hardware also functioning, properly functioning. Like your indriyas has to be clear, clarity, perfect. Perception has to be opened, and your movements has to be karmendriya, indriya, digestion, everything, sleep, everything has to be in a perfect mode. Then only you can update your software. That is your spirituality,
So,
spiritual power. And this
wonderfully said.
sadhana is a term that Shivji told to Parvati, who was keeping on doing this vrita to prasanna Shivji. So पहले अपना
Yes.
शरीर को ध्यान दे दो, उसके बाद like keep your
Yes,
body in
absolutely.
perfect mode, then only you can upgrade.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Dr. Suraj. Hari Om. There's a Sanskrit phrase, Oshadi Janavi Toyam, Vaidyo Narayano Hari. The doctor who knows his medicine is no less than Narayana himself. And we have now Vaidya, who has shared an important message for all of us. If we are ignoring our physical, it's time we should not do that. Our life is, our body is like how we have it, isn't it? Somebody's tall, somebody's short, somebody's having plus points, somebody's having some minus point. But nevertheless, it is ours, isn't it? It's our duty. It's our duty to take care of it. If we cannot, our sadhana also will not. What will happen then if you neglect the body completely? You'll have to take another birth. Again, you'll have to start from scratch only, isn't it? It's not like you're going to take over. So when you have this life, yes, Sureshji, sir, you're adding something, sir?
Yeah. May I take a 2 minutes break if you
Of course,
permit
sir,
me?
of course. Please tell me, sir.
Thank
Please.
you. I'll rejoin in 2 minutes. I need
Yeah, all
to,
right, sir.
my
Fine.
body is telling me
Sure, sir.
I have to take care of my body.
Yes, sir. So should I wait for 2 minutes till then, till you join?
No, please continue, sir. I'll rejoin. I can hear.
Okay,
I
all
can
right, sir.
hear.
Fine, sir. Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank
Oh,
you.
great, sir. Great, sir. Yes, yes. Please, and no need to ask for permission anytime, sir. You're free anytime. Yes. Yeah, all right. So Krishna's Sharira first, and he goes on further. He says, Kshetragnyam chapimam vithi Kshetreshu bharata. Kshetragnya jnanam yatagnan madam mama. As the no supreme, recognize me. No matter all the fields that can exist.
Shushruji, your voice is breaking. Sorry.
Okay. I think I'll have to know the network connection right now. 1 second. Hari Om. Is it okay now? Is the audio clear?
Yes, Ji.
Yes. All right, sir. So Krishna says, Kshetragnyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. Kshetra kshetragnya yojnanam yatagnyanam matam mama. As the Supreme, as the Knower Supreme, recognize me, knower of all the fields that can in existence be, the knowledge of the knower and the field. is the ultimate wisdom that a being can wield. Krishna says, recognize, Acha, your Sharira is there, you can become conscious. You can become close to becoming a Kshetragnya when you become conscious of the body. But understand, you will be conscious of your body only. There is one Kshetragnya who is a master of all the fields. Krishna says, Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. All the fields that are in existence. The knowledge of the knower and the field is the ultimate wisdom that a being can wield. This knowledge of the field and the knower, this is the biggest knowledge, or greatest knowledge, of course. No big knowledge. Knowledge can only be great. And it is that knowledge when you become conscious, Krishna says. And he says, recognize me as a supreme Kshetragnya. Meaning, don't get ahankar just because I learned something in this field. I've become the master because today I'm a big fish in a small pond. Another will come tomorrow, isn't it? Then what will happen? And then there are so many ponds in the world, something like that. There are so many fields. There are so many fields, but there's one Kshetragnya for all the fields. And Krishna is asking Arjuna to recognize because this recognition is important. This recognition is important because it gives us the humility to recognize the possibility of an existence that is greater than us. The Ahankar cannot tolerate it. I am the greatest. I am the Alpha. I am the Omega. Everything begins with me, but that's not true. In this world, it's a very complicated world. But there is one Kshetragnya for all the Kshetras, is what Krishna says. Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. Slowly, the definition of field is going to change. Our body is called a field. Field is generally a vast. Kurukshetra is also a field, isn't it? That is also a Kshetra. Krishna is telling Sharira also is a Kshetra. Is our Kshetra so vast? Is our field, is our body so vast? Well, one young, in a children's batch of one learning through nature, we were having a discussion. One young girl suddenly discovered her body being such a big Kshetra. She said, of course, we don't use these terms in that class, but she said so nicely, she said, what a beautiful miracle. The human body is a miracle, she was saying. I said, why do you say that? See, it is like so many planets are all having a system inside of our body. We have digestive system. I just learned in school, there is a nervous system. They are all connected. And that is the realization. That is, we can call it a sakshatkar. For a small child, it's a big sakshatkar. Wow, look at that. We forget that glory, that beauty. Inside of us, so many systems are in place. Who has brought? Sometimes children know better than adults, no? Children are able to identify. And she says, yes, it is like a universe. It is so vast. I just learned that the intestine is so long. And how is it in such a small place? It is all magical. Who has kept it? She was asking me. I said, I also don't know exactly who has kept it. Somebody has kept it, is what she was feeling. So this recognition is important because life becomes much more beautiful when we recognize it. We can experience the glory of the beauty of life also as we become conscious of the Kshetragnya. Recognize there is somebody better than you. Isn't it nice feeling when you have somebody? When we are young, we are irritated that somebody elder is there, somebody bigger is there. But when people become 70, 75, my Guruji now is 77. He says, whenever he sees some elderly person, he says, I will not miss the chance to go and touch their feet. He says, कोई नहीं है अभी, कोई बड़े दिखते ही नहीं है आजकल. So it is always blessing, he says, to get the ashirvad of someone who has seen more life. And look at the humility. So much experience he has got, and yet having that humility, because that is important. Recognize the Kshetragnya, the supreme Kshetragnya. Krishna goes on, the next part, the third shloka. He says, Tat Kshetram yatcha yadrukcha yad vikaram yatasya yat sachayo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shrunu. About the field and its multifarious diversities, of its source, its nature, and inherent deformities, and also what it is, and what is its influences sphere. I shall explain them to you. So lend me your ear. Shrunu, Arjuna, listen, I will share to you about the field, about the different Vibhaga in the field. What are the divisions? What are the aspects of the field? Like, what is the source of the field? What is the nature of the field? And also, what are the deformities in the field? I think this was a question that was asked. Our world, how is it? It's not an ideal world, isn't it? There is vikara also. There is deformation, there is distortion, and there is beauty, there is also ugliness, there is truth, there is falsehood, all of it. Arjuna has to become. It's interesting how Krishna is, means you see the sequence also, isn't it? First, describing Vibhuti Darshana, all the divine in the universe. He wants Arjuna to be grounded in consciousness and recognize the Srishti. When he's recognizing divinity in Srishti, suddenly he shows him a crazy Vishwarupa, which shakes Arjuna. And as if Arjuna is now shaken, he brings him back. He says, this is the way of devotion. Bhakti is essential. And then he doesn't want his bhaktas to be naive. He introduces the Kshetragnya Vibhaga. He says, listen, understand the field, understand the different parts of the field, understand that there are deformations also. What happens? We don't look at what is wrong or we try to avoid it. Is not, this does not belong to me, this does not concern to me. But that does not mean it does not exist, isn't it? So how do we deal with it? What is the plus? What is the minus also? We need to know. And Krishna says, listen, Arjuna, I'll tell you. And sometimes this is a very important, no, Sir, there's an important, very important aspect of recognizing what is good, what is bad. In your enemies also you should know, but more than enemies, you should know yourself also first, isn't it? Know thyself is what my teacher says. What's your plus point? What's your minus point? If people go with their resumes, they all look like they're Sakshat Krishna avatars only. If you read their resume, only plus points. All of this, I am so expert, I am so this, I am so that. But very cleverly, somebody who is a Kshetragnya can see, ki, chalo, this field, this field. That means this field is missing. Then he asks a question and suddenly the resume falls flat because this person has not understood it. Well, we have to become conscious. We have to recognize. And even in engineering, I think when anybody has studied thermodynamics, anyone has heard of it? Yes. So how is the engine in thermodynamics? The first principle is what? System, surroundings, and environment. Identify the system, identify the system's reaction with the surrounding, and it's how the system and surrounding are present in the environment, how they are functioning. This principle is required to understand it. With this, you can design a heat engine or you can design a refrigeration engine also. It's both the same principle because how it interacts. So a yogi, as Dr. Surajji also said, many people say we are on the spiritual path and then they become his patients. Means for Margadarshan you can go, yes, but you are having Vikara or in Sharira, you are having some false aspects. I don't think doctor wants the patients to have continuously Rog also, isn't it? Dr. Surajji, your aim is Nidana only, no? I think he's not around probably or muted. So this aspect is there that we must become conscious. We must become aware. Krishna says further. Yes, Dr. Surji. Yes, sir.
Yes. Also, the people tend to go for spiritualism, but they say we are during meditation we feel everything okay, no, no stress, everything. As soon as they step out from the meditation, they feel all the pain because the hardware is damaged,
Yes, yes,
physical
yes.
body. So
Yes.
we have to take care of our problems of the body. We have to listen to the body actually. Be conscious of the
Ji,
body
ji.
first and go to the
Ji, ji.
supreme divine.
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. And we can't run away from the field, no? Arjuna wanted to
Yeah,
run away in the very first
we
adhyaya.
away from our problems. We ignore our
Yes.
problems. We do not
So,
face it. You have
all
to
right.
solve it. You have to face it first.
Yes, yes. All right, sir. So we'll look at one more shloka, the fourth shloka of the 13th adhyaya, and then we'll call it a day. The fourth shloka Krishna talks about. He says, Rushibhir bahudha gitam chandobhihi vividhaihi prathak Brahma Sutra Padaishchaiva Hetur Madbhihi Vinishchitaihi. The sages of the ancient sages and the ancient seers of the old have in their hymns thus extolled the Brahma Sutras, the great scriptures, classical, describe its philosophy and rationale in a way most logical. Krishna is saying the same truth which I'm sharing to you. It has been told in the Brahma Sutras. These are very classical scriptures. And he says, look at this. In the hymns of the Brahma Sutra, you can understand, he says, the philosophy and rationale in a way most logical. Means this is a knowledge which is a just knowledge, a knowledge which can be verified. And he says, I will lend that to you. Means this knowledge can be verified practically also. It can be lived, it can be experienced. And this is something which Krishna is sharing. The Kshetra and the Kshetragnya, knowledge of the Kshetra, this is something we all must become conscious of. When we are conscious, then we can practice. And Krishna is, we at least understand from Bhakti Yoga also, dearest devotee, who has become the example of the Dharma of Krishna. He is the one, or she is the one, who is living the principles. My Guruji also told me, reading this Gita only all the time will not help you anything unless you start practicing it. And so I have selected some shlokas, ki chalo, this lifetime I should try to practice even one shloka, two shlokas, but I have to practice it properly. And if I do, probably that will serve the entire purpose also. Other shlokas are also anyway connected. So with this, I request someone to draw a summary, conclusion of today's session, and then if anybody has any queries, we can look at it. Hari Om.
May I?
Oh, welcome, Ji. Surely.
Yeah. So today we started with the discussion about bhakti and basically Shri Krishna said that bhakti rasa is going to give you that ananda in the life. And he also started says that person who doesn't get affected by praise or criticism accepts whatever comes naturally, and who is actually able to remain detached from people, things, and home. So when we said detachment, it is more about not expecting things and still doing upholding the dharma and actually accepting things. So that person is dear to me, and the most one who is most dearer to me is the one who actually understands the spirit of teachings of this Gita, practices them, and whose aim is to love and unite with me and continue with the dharma in the most best way which is possible. So that is the most dear to me. Then he started explaining about the Kshetra and Kshetragnya concept. So basically this definition of Kshetra that can change with context, but initially he started with this body being the Kshetra, and he told Arjuna that you need to understand this body because there are also vikara in this, and this is a vehicle and that you need to take care of, which is actually going to help us to move ahead in our journey. And as you said, if that we don't take care of it, then eventually I mean you will not able to probably reach the destination because the vehicle itself is not good enough then. So yeah, so he said you need to understand this Kshetra there, and you also need to understand that this definition of Kshetra can change with context, and there will be different you can understand it, but there will be always a way you can always find a better Kshetragnya of the Kshetra, but eventually I am the most supreme one and I will know about all. So that he said, and he said that whatever truth I'm going to tell you, that can be also that is also shared in Brahma Sutras, and that can be verified. So we are going to look at that next.
Yeah. All right. Perfectly said, Chaitanya ji. So there was an old song, Bada hi CID hai, wo Neeli Chhatri wala. He has the chabi for all the mistakes or all the locks. He has got the key. Something like that. Supreme Kshetragnya is there. Yes, we will have expertise. We will gather knowledge. We will gain experience. But let that experience not become a hurdle for receiving more experience. Look at our Hanuman, Anjaneya. So much that Sri Rama says, he says, I am grateful to you. And Hanuman says, no, no, you are not. I am grateful to you. Manojabam va ऋतुतुल्य vekam jitendriyam buddhimatam varishtam vatatmajam va narayutam mukham Shri Rama dutam sharanam prapadhe. It is said that if you want to attain to Sri Rama, do bhakti of Anjaneya or Hanuman. You will go closer to him. So something like that. It is so simple as that. Recognize the Kshetragnya, and I think there is nobody who is self-made. Everybody has got guidance. Everybody has received knowledge from someone. Find your Kshetra, find your Kshetragnya. Learn and grow. That is the simple message. So with this, let us conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Looking forward tomorrow as we go into the 13th Adhyay. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kashit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. Jai Shri Krishna. Hari Om. Yes. If any queries
Hari
are
Om.
there, they are welcome. We will conclude. Hari Om Ji. Namaste.
Hari Om, Hari Om,
Namaskar.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Sir, I have
Yes,
a
Ji.
question.
Namaste. Yes, Dr. Swarupa. Or who is speaking? Yeah, anybody.
Sir, I have a question. Hanuman was
Manisha Ji. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Ji. Please go on, Ji.
to remain in body consciousness and simultaneously be Jitendriya. How these two apparently seems contradictory.
Why is it contradictory, Manisha Ji? To be Jitendra. We have Indriyas, then only you can become Jitendra, isn't it? Without the Indriyas. And how can we become Jitendra? By recognizing the Indra of the Indriyas. We have learnt, isn't it? Mana.
We have to
Our Hanuman, yes, Hanumanji had got Sakala Siddhi as a child by virtue of blessings. If we understand the legend, all the Siddhis were his, isn't it? Then he lost his Smriti. He lost the Smriti because of a curse that you will not have. You will forget all these Siddhis. He didn't go to try to realize the Siddhis again. Instead, he became what we can say the Jitendra through means the second part of was complete body consciousness only for Hanumana. Of his senses. He became conscious of his senses and learnt on its own, on his own. When you become the master of your indriyas, you will understand. The sukshma also can be understood, the sthula also can be understood.
Okay, meaning to say that you have a complete control over your indriyas and you become conscious of your body. So that the first shloka
Yes.
of Kshetra Vibhaga Yoga, this is also understood in line with uh, like one how one can control the senses and overpower his body and yet be conscious of his body. So both,
Yes.
yes. Okay. Yes,
Ji.
I understood.
Yes, ji. All right. Ji. And also, because mind also, we will see now the next, because Krishna is going to give the Vibhaga. What is the Kshetra? What are the different fields? What are the Vibhaga? Is the body only there, or is there something else beyond that also? We will see that.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. But after a while, it starts that one word disappears, no? It starts appearing like a spectrum. Where is the Sharira? Where is the Sharira ending? Where is the divine consciousness starting? Where is that? That line also gets disappeared after a while. But let us see now. What is Krishna saying in this Adhyay? Yes, see.
Yes, thank you.
Hariya. Hariya. Yes. Well, namaste. Renuji, you were asking something? No, no. All right. Fine. All right. Let us conclude then. Hari Om. Hare Krishna. Something wrong with my system. It's frozen. I'll just try to close it.